The Mandalorian, otherwise known as Mando at this point, has the asset and is taking him to the Imperial client on Navarro. He has a bit of stoicism in his demeanor when it comes to Baby Yoda. When Baby Yoda takes a shiny gear shift knob, Mando swiftly takes it away from him and places him back in his floating egg carriage thingy. Later, we see a different side to Mando, but for now, he is doing his job. The job he has done so well in the past, collecting his bounty. This is my review of The Mandalorian Chapter 3, and some of the hidden gems in it, including the possible origin of Mando himself, today on Star Wars Fanatic. If you're new to the channel, go on and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all of my Star Wars content. Mando knocks on the door to the Imperial client's small base of operations, and a familiar face appears. It may not be the same butler droid, but it definitely is of the same make as the one we see answer the door at Jabba's palace for C-3PO and R2-D2. And this one also speaks Huttese. So, maybe it is the same droid, butler guy. But it is a good nod to Return of the Jedi. But I digress. Remnant Imperial stormtroopers come to the door and escort Mando and Baby Yoda to the client. These stormtroopers look rough. I didn't note this when I did the Chapter 1 breakdown, but I will go ahead and talk about it now. Their armor they are wearing is dirty. The paint is chipping, and it feels like there is something different about their facial designs that make them seem a bit more sinister and maybe even sadder at the same time. This Imperial officer has not been taking care of his men. At first, I thought it was because the Empire is mostly gone, and these guys are having a hard time with fresh supplies. But that isn't so much the full story. I'll talk about that in another video, though, when the time comes. But yes, the rough-looking stormtroopers lead Mando and Baby Yoda to the client. Mando asks what they will do with the child, and the Imperial officer puts him in his place quickly. He tells him his job is done, and it's against the Bounty Hunter Guild's rules to question it. The client then presents the Beskar payment and tells Mando this is enough Beskar to make a handsome replacement for his mix-matched armor. So, now, the Beskar and the ice cream maker containing in it is in good, safe hands. Need I remind you of the sacrifice Will Hood made to keep the galaxy in fresh supply of Bantha milk ice cream? Well, he will be happy to know it is now safe again. By the way, the ice cream maker / cylinder carrying the Beskar is another throwback to The Empire Strikes Back. But I will do a full Easter egg list at the end of this video. Okay, so Mando leaves the client with the Beskar reward and returns to his covert in the sewers. As he shows the armorer the Beskar bounty he received, the other Mandalorians enter the room. One starts a fight with him by calling him a coward who shares tables with the Empire. The Empire purged Mandalore, killing most of its people, mining its Beskar, and causing survivors to live in the sewers. The armorer makes him some new armor, and the rest of the Beskar will be used to make armor for foundlings. As she is making his armor, he tells her that the child saved his life. Mando then has flashbacks of when his parents hid from the Separatists, his mother and father carrying him to safety and hiding him in a cellar. It's worth noting his childhood clothing, and that of his parents, but I will get to that a bit later as well. Mando then returns to the guild, where Greef Karga congratulates him. Mando was the only one that could do the job, despite the amount of people he hired to do it. He then gives Mando more low-paying bounty jobs. Mando leaves and fires up the Razor Crest. As he places the gear shift ball in its rightful place, you can see him worry about what the Empire is doing with Baby Yoda. In a moment of clarity, he then shuts off the Razor Crest's engines and goes back to rescue Baby Yoda. After he retrieves the child, he is attacked by the entirety of the Bounty Hunters Guild. They want the child. However, Mando does escape with the help of the rest of Mandalorians in his covert. This means he will be hunted from here out, and his Mandalorian covert is now at risk. Okay, so that's the synopsis of the episode. There's a lot packed into this short episode, and if you blink, you may miss some of the key stuff. In Chapter 3, there are references to a lot of other Star Wars medium. I already mentioned the Beskar holder ice cream maker from The Empire Strikes Back. That was a fun little Easter egg they threw in there. There was also the obvious separatist battle droids and super battle droids, and it was good to see them in live action again. Does anyone remember Embo, though? He was a bounty hunter during the Clone Wars who had worked with Cad Bane and several other bounty hunters of their time. Well, when the scene cuts to the Bounty Hunters Guild, before Mando shows up, there's a man talking with Greef Karga. The bounty hunter looks a lot like Embo. Greef even calls him Dust Breather. There are some differences in the animation form of Embo and the live-action character I'm drawing attention to. But look at the similarities. Large hat, similar filtration system over his mouth, similar clothing and height, bandolier draped over the same shoulder, and mostly hidden face. Not to mention he's a bounty hunter. Maybe it's the same race as Embo, but the resemblances are too canny for me to ignore. Take a look at it yourself. I know this next bit isn't in this episode, but I forgot to bring it up in the Chapter 1 review. Does anyone recognize the pieces of Mando's armor? That is, the armor he had before he got the new shoulder piece. Does the old shoulder piece look familiar? Of course it does. It is the shoulder piece from a shore trooper, or Scarif trooper if you prefer. This was the first callback to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This show is so full of Easter eggs, some viewers call it fan service, but I don't think it is. If you're just a casual fan, you won't catch all these nuances, and the show is still acclaimed by even the least dedicated fans and casual viewers. So for me, bring on the Easter eggs. I love hunting them. I do miss some once in a while, and this next one is pretty big. How did I miss this? I want to thank one of my viewers, Don Clatterman, for pointing out this option to me. Have any of you wondered why there is no mention of where Mando is from? We know he was a foundling during the Clone Wars, but which planet were the Separatists invading that caused him to be a foundling? I mean, they raided so many worlds. Well, Don Clatterman pointed out to me that there may be a clue in Mando's memories that points to exactly where he is from. Gray is everywhere. As Mando's planet is being attacked by super battle droids and aerial droids, citizens are running, scattering, screaming, and yelling, all in a gray environment. Even the citizens are wearing gray. That is, except 3 citizens. Those citizens are young Mando and his mother and father. They are wearing red, and not just a peasant's red. Look at Mando's decorative chest piece. That is not of any citizen. After Don pointed this out to me, I did some digging. I found that in the Star Wars Rogue One, the ultimate visual guide, the color red is very significant in that movie. Now, I know Generation Tech has already done a video about this, and frankly, I'd already wrote this before I saw Generation Tech's video. So, let me rephrase. Red robes are very significant in the Star Wars universe, thanks to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Sure, in the past red robes were worn by the Emperor's Royal Guard, but this is a bit different. I'm pretty sure Mando's parents weren't Royal Guards, as that position didn't exist fully during the Clone Wars. But there was another organization that the red robes were a fashion trend for, the Guardians of the Whills. You know, that group that Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus belonged to during Rogue One? Baze was a bit of a lost soul and only had hints of red on his armor. Chirrut had a full red robe under his black outer garments. But look at the visual guide, or go to Wikipedia. I always say that wrong, I'm sorry. There is a character named Angbar Trell. He was a guardian of the Whills and is described as wearing the Order's distinctive red robes. I know I sound like I'm stretching, but there is a reason Mando's home planet hasn't been revealed yet. To me, his home planet is Jedha, and his parents were guardians of the Whills, and he was being raised as one of those guardians. The red robes are uncanny, not to mention it would explain why the Separatists are invading Mando's world. They were at war with the Republic and the Jedi. Jedha was a huge temple for the Jedi. Makes sense to attack one of their temples if you're at war with them. And if you watch Rogue One again, you will notice the town surrounding the temple looked to be battle-worn. Yes, this could be from Saw Gerrera, but it could also be left over from a Separatist invasion 20 years earlier. So with the awesome help of a dedicated Star Wars fan, Don Clatterman, I think Mando is from Jedha. and he was growing up to be a guardian of the Wills. Now, we may not be the first to come up with this conclusion, but it definitely seems plausible and even possible, and maybe even likely. Well, that's all I have for Chapter 3 of The Mandalorian. I will be doing a breakdown with all the hidden Easter eggs and callbacks I can find for each chapter of The Mandalorian. But what do you think of this episode? Was that Imbo in the Bounty Hunters Guild? Do you feel like there's something to Mando being from Jedha and a guardian of the Wills? It kind of makes sense that there is irony in Mandalorians being enemies of the Jedi, yet Mandalorians saving Mando during a separatist raid of a Jedi temple. Were the Mandalorians there as protectors, or were they there fighting with the separatists? Just a thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from every one of you. If you haven't noticed, I set all my videos to be premieres. That way I can join in the live chat option before and during the video premiere. If you haven't noticed this, it's probably because you haven't taken the creed by subscribing and turning on notifications. So go ahead and do that now so you can be notified when a new video premieres and you can join in the live chat with us. Also, hit the thumbs up and share the video with your social media groups. Let's see if we can break 500 views with this one. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.